today we're going to talk about brushes, oil, acrylic brushes and watercolour brushes, and we're going to talk about the different shapes of brushes that we can get. So here in my hand I have oil and acrylic brushes. I will start off with this brush here, which is a flat ferrule brush. That is, the ferrule is that metal part that you can see here, and it's when the brush is made it's round, but they flattened it so that the head of a brush becomes a flat brush. As this one here is a filbert brush. It still looks like a flat brush, but the tip of it's been domed, and that is done so that you can use the corners of a brush to make lineal highlights, whereas you can't really do it with a square cut or a 90-degree angle brush. And then we have a round brush. A round brush doesn't mean that the brush is round in this way. It means that it's a round ferrule, so that you can see that the brush is round and it's pointed, and that can be used for detail work as well as spreading a load of paint on your canvas. So this is a long handle fan brush. A fan brush obviously has a fan shape, and it's used not so much to apply paint with, it's more to go over the paint, to soften edges, to do reflection on water, or to do lineal wavy lines, if you like. It's a very effective brush and specialized brush to use. It's one that you won't use a lot of, but it's a good brush to have in your kit. And later on, when we go through how to use the brushes, what marks they make, you'll be able to see what we're talking about. And here we have short handle watercolour or water base paint brushes. They can be used with watercolours, they can be used with gouache or inks. These are a range of brushes that we developed called the revolution brushes. And they're synthetic brushes, but they're specialized material which holds as much water as natural hair does. And we'll go into that a bit later on when we do another video. We'll just talk to you about the shapes now. This one is called a one-stroke wash brush. It gets that name because of the length of the hair, holding a lot of water, allowing you to deposit a lot of watercolor on your paper in one stroke. And it's a flat brush, and it's quite a wide brush. When wet, the bristles will actually come back together and be nice and square. This is a mop brush, or a quill mop, that gets its name from the fact that initially an actual bird quill was used as a ferrule. These days we just use a plastic with ties. That also is a huge water carrying brush for maxi washes on paper. And it does taper to a point and it'll give you some sort of detail. And we have this little flat brush, which is a little bright brush. Bright is the name given to the hair that's actually shorter than flats. And we just call that a bright brush. That's good for blocking in color, as we call it. That's a round brush or a spotter brush. It can be described as both. That's just an all-rounder brush. For broader stroke, coming to fine strokes because of a tapering point. And finally, no, actually not finally, second final is the rigger brush. The rigger brush is also called a script brush. It's got very long hair, soft hair, and when wet it sticks together and allows you to do a lot of lineal work and also detail work. Now finally we have our mitre brush. The mitre brush is a flat brush that's been tapered to point as would a mitre hat on cardinals' heads or similar things. You can be used broad and fine for the tip, both in watercolour and diluted acrylics. Excellent brush to use, very multi-purpose. In our next video we'll use all of the brushes that we spoke about, and you'll be able to see them in action, as it were, as we use it to make different brush marks. Thank you.